So, for the very first time, and I'm not saying this is how it's going to work in this, the different sandboxes of the metaverse and virtual spaces and so forth. But about this time last year, we actually acquired a big portion of a technology that runs our data and valuation. And it was the first time going through a transaction like that I landed on escrowing code for the technology. And so, as I'm doing this investigation and really learning, okay, we own this technology, but somebody else had it first. So how do we bring, and that was the solution. All of that code is in escrow. It's sitting in escrow, and it will sit in escrow, and it's a small monthly fee to keep it there. But I'm thinking that Villa Title and others will get into that space, because that's exactly what those virtual spaces are. It's coding on the internet. It's coding. I don't even know how to say it. I'm showing everyone right now how much I don't know how to speak code and all of that. Okay. I mean, I'm a good with technology, but I don't know this language. But I'm thinking that that's how it's going to end up being, because that's exactly what we had to do when we acquired that software. Yep. And to protect it. And, because you can't, we're a firm believer in not having not being married to third parties, right? We want to have and create and invent as much as we can, because we obviously love technology at EXP. And so, as we handle, Verbella's platform, which is a company owned by EXP World Holdings, it's no different than leasing office space or leasing a home or leasing, a retail center. And so that's how they've been handling that. Mm-hmm. But I do think that everyone's going to want to step it up and really be able to say that they don't want to lease, they want to own.
Yeah.
And that's where the title of some sorts are going to come into play.
I just wonder what that looks like, because, we help people buy and sell and lease real property. And so is the definition of real property going to change? Because I remember at EXPCon, I went up to the big, huge Verbella booth, and they had pictures of, I don't know if it was a law office or what it was, but they had pictures of the interior of the brick and mortar. And then they recreated that in the virtual world and created this virtual office. So who's to say what's real and what's not real? I don't know. It's a really fascinating conversation.
Well, I think that, go ahead, John, go ahead.
But yeah, I was just going to say on that side, that's where it gets tricky is, what is real property? Is a property, a house in the virtual world considered real? Because from a regulation and policy standpoint, title companies in certain states, most states, are only allowed to handle funds and transact on real property. You have to have a separate entity or separate, you can't commingle funds, et cetera, if you're escrowing a boat transaction, or you're escrowing the sale of an airplane, or, a business. So they have to be separate entities, right? So it is interesting, what is going to be considered real property and what are going to be kind of the regulations around it. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question. And and who's out there lobbying on behalf of, changing these guidelines and procedures in the commercial title and escrow world? Do you know who the players are in that field?
So, I mean, obviously the large underwriters have a huge presence out there, and so they're really, in that aspect, we all work together. There's title associations and boards we all sit on that we talk about issues like this. And then, there's representation that goes to Washington, and they have First American Fidelity has a ton of lobbyists that are kind of working to help position that. But I think, the metaverse, I think, caught everyone off guard on how quickly it grew. So I think it's just people trying to kind of figure it out right now. What do we want to be involved in that space? Is there a way to, continue to grow in that virtual world? Or is that a completely new company, new idea, et cetera? So.